Здравейте, приятели! Аз съм Алекс и вие сте с нашия BookTube канал Четат ли двама. Имам невероятната възможност да взема интервю от Хансел Килеле, който е в България по покана на издателството Плеяда за представяне на своят сборник Сияние в мрака. От тук нататък обаче започвам да говоря на английски, тъй като интервюто ще го водим на английски. Райс по ангажимент да сложи субтитри, ако няма, тя е виновна. The main reason I wanted to meet and talk with you is because what you've accomplished and what you've done for 20 years is, for me, it's amazing. I've been dealing with this BookTube and talking about books for like only 2 years, and you've been doing it for 20. And
Yeah.
I gotta say that such fandom is amazing to me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does it take a lot of your time?
Not so much now. In the beginning, it took a lot of times to get it all rolling, and but today the website is very easy to update. I have a friend that's very good at designing websites, so he's done it very easy for me. When I get news, I can update it like in a couple of minutes. So it all depends on how much news I have to find and read and stuff like that.
So about the book Shining in the Dark, what was it to communicate with so many different authors and to persuade them to take part in this? It's very interesting for me. How was the communication? How did it go?
It was very different. Some of the authors I communicated through their agents, but with John I actually talked to him in person, and he wrote the story in Swedish. So I read it, and we agreed that it would work. And he has a lady that translates everything he writes from Swedish to English. So she translated that, and then he got it back and actually asked me about some English terms, and we worked about it. So that was very interesting and very rewarding to be involved in that process.
I gotta say, my favorite story is the Jon Eivald Lindqvist one. I mean, it was just everything I wanted.
Yeah, and he wrote that one specially for the book.
Yeah.
I contacted him and asked him if he wanted to be involved. And he said, "Oh, that would be fun, but I've just sent away all my short stories for a collection, so I don't have anything." And but he said, if something pops up, I'll get back to you. And I thought that was the last I would hear from him. But then a month later, he said, "Oh, I got this idea. Let me work on it and see what's happening." And it turned out to be the story in the book. So.
I have a question which was, I gotta say, inspired by Drawn to the Flame, the story. Do you have a visceral, guttural, proverbial fear of something? You know, something that whenever you open a story or a book and you see it and you're like, okay, that's it, I'm reading that.
No, not really. I have some problem with heights. Not reading about them, but being high up and like when you're in the swimming house and you go up to the trampolines. Oh, no way. I want to be scared when I read horror stories. I mean, that's the main thing.
What scares you? Okay.
But things that scares me most are the realistic things. Like, for example, Mr. Mercedes. I mean, I got goosebumps just thinking about when he plunges into that. And that's something that can and does happen in the world today. So, I mean, a scary clown or a car that heals himself. I mean, that's scary in another way, but that's not... You don't expect it to happen. So you can just read it, be scared, and be done with it. But the other stuff, it's in the back of your head, and you can, this could happen here, and that's the scary things, I think.
What are we going to see in 10 years from Davis Library? Do you plan that far ahead?
I have the will and the drive to make it better, to keep it accurate, not reporting too much error. And to make it easier for people to find and stuff like that, and I also try to not write too much about King's private life. I mean, if he buys a new house, who cares? If he sells his house, who cares? And if they cares, go find it somewhere else. I like to focus on his work, because that's the main thing, and I think that is how he would like it as well. He's a very private person.
Yes, he is.
But still not... it's very ordinary.
He leads a very ordinary life.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I am in love with Molly, aka the Thing of Evil, because Molly, if you guys don't know, Molly is his corgi puppy, which is the most adorable thing in the world, but he usually places her in such settings that it's Molly, aka the Thing of Evil.
It would be fun to have a book of Molly.
Yeah, Book of Molly.
Hopefully that will come.
My final question is about, how should I put it, King's legacy. I'm talking about the way his work has impacted horror, the horror genre, the thriller genre, because I've enjoyed Joe Hill, his work very much. I like Parma very much,
Yeah.
and I'm still to read Sleeping Beauties. I've never read anything which the Kings have collaborated on, so I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
It's very different book because if you compare Stephen and Joe, they write very similar. You could almost imagine the other one writing the other one's book. But when it comes to Owen, he has a different writing style. I don't know if you've read any of his books,
No,
but his style is different from Stephen's. So it was very interesting when they collaborated. It was almost like when Steve and Joe collaborated, it was like one of them wrote the story. But here you have two authors that's very different, so it almost become a third voice that's somewhere in between. So that was very interesting and quite different. I know a lot of people isn't too fond of the book. Most people are, but some they doesn't recognize King in it voice. So.
Yes, it's something people aren't used to.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for taking the time for doing this interview. It was very interesting for me. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting for our viewers as well.
I hope so.
And I wish you all the best with the book, and I hope there's many more to come because your selection is truly impressive. I loved it.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Thank you.